Right, everybody, good afternoon. Welcome to the virtual session of European Higher Education Fair 2022. I am Puji Maharani and I will be moderating this session. Today at Auditorium 1, we will be talking about study in Sweden with speakers from KTH Royal Institute of Technology, Lund University, and SLU. These are all public universities based in the cities of Stockholm, Lund, and Uppsala in Sweden. Before I start, I would like to invite the speakers to introduce themselves. We can start with KTH.
Hi everyone, my name is Xin Tong and I'm the communications officer here at KTH Royal Institute of Technology. It's so nice to be here and I'm looking forward to introduce the university with you all. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Xin Tong. Next, I'd like to invite a representative from Lund University.
Hello, my name is Rebecca and I am a regional marketing officer from Lund University. It's really nice to join you today.
Right, thank you very much. And last but not least, the representative from SLU.
Hi everybody, my name is Elin Hellsten and I work as communications officer at the Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences, SLU. I had a couple of really good days in Jakarta and Surabaya this week, and I hope this will be as great as that was. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much. So for the audience who are joining us on YouTube, feel free to drop your questions on the live chat box and we will respond to them during the question and answers part of the session. Now, without further ado, I would like to start today's talk show session by asking our speakers, why should we choose Sweden and your university in particular as a study destination? We can start with SLU.
Why you should choose Sweden? You should choose Sweden because of our great nature, our environment, and that's because why you should choose SLU as well. I can't talk today, sorry. SLU is a university focusing on sustainability and environmental issues, and those are issues that we are great at in Sweden as well. We care about the environment, we care about our freedom and the right to access nature in every way, and that's why you should join us in Sweden.
All right, thank you. Now I'd like to hear from the Lund University.
Yeah, so I can agree with what Elin said about the values of Sweden and that we are a welcoming community and you can study in English, but you can get the benefits of the wonderful Scandinavian culture and natural surroundings as well. In terms of why you should particularly think about my university, Lund University, we're one of the top universities in the world, and we were founded in 1666, so we're a really old university. And actually, on the topic of sustainability, we also just recently ranked really highly in the QS Sustainability World Rankings. We came 12th, so we're very proud of that as well. Yeah, we really have a lot to offer as an old and traditional institution, but in a modern and welcoming Sweden.
All right, thank you very much. Last but not least, from KTH.
Yes, I completely agree with my colleagues, Rebecca and Elin, what they said about Sweden. I can also add on that I think all the master's programs are really focused on sustainability, especially at KTH, that all of our master's program are focused and connect to at least one of the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals. So that is a strong focus, and Sweden in general is highly ranked in terms of a sustainable society, and it is a very open multicultural society with a tradition of welcoming students from all over the world. So you can really feel the atmosphere of study and living, and most Swedes speak excellent English. So it is very easy to get around in the society, especially when you just arrived without any Swedish language knowledge. And there is a really ranked really highly in the gender equality. It is not a very big, Sweden is not a very big country, but it is a very welcoming country with a lot of big companies, innovations. And when it comes to KTH, I can mention that it is not as old as Lund University, but it was founded in 1827, so it's almost 200 years old, and it is one of the leading technical university in Sweden. So we focus a lot in the subject area in engineering. We ranked 89 in the latest QS ranking worldwide, and some of the subjects are ranked even higher. But I can talk about that later, a bit later. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So it's a very interesting perspective that you all three have offered on how Sweden is not only a country with exceptional education quality, but also as a country and a society, you have a lot to offer on the values that's going to be very supportive for new incoming international students. Now, speaking of that, how would you provide assistance or support for the incoming international or non-EU students? Scholarship is a very common question, financial assistance, but also other than that, what kind of other support that your university offers? We can start with KTH.
Yes. So as you mentioned that one question is a lot focused on scholarship, and the KTH is associated with the LPDP Scholarship Association for students from Indonesia that they can apply, apart from the KTH scholarship and Swedish Institute scholarship that they can apply. And also on top of that, all the fee-paying students and scholarship holders are guaranteed housing for their first year. So I think that makes a lot of international students very easy to settle down as a start. And we also offer arrival services and introduction weeks for newly arrived international students, including the free English courses to help them to start. And then also we offer, for example, we just opened the application, it's about 3 weeks ago, and during the application process, we also give a lot of support when it comes to answer all your inquiries. We try to have our support as best as we can. For example, you can contact all our master's student ambassadors. At KTH, we have a 60s master's program, and we have over 50 student ambassadors for those master's program that we can ask all your questions. I think that's some of the support that I can list at the moment.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Sintong. Next, Rebecca, you can share what kind of support from Lund University.
Yes, I would be happy to. So similarly, we also offer a scholarship which offers between 25% and 90% tuition fee discount called the Lund University Global Scholarship. It's very competitive, but it is available to apply for all fee-paying students. We also offer the housing guarantee for all fee-paying students, meaning that you won't have to worry about finding a place to live. We'll definitely make sure that you can have an offer of a place to live. We also have a student ambassador scheme. We have something where we have unibuddy ambassadors, so you can speak to current students before you arrive, ask them questions, see what student life is like. And then once you arrive, we also have the international desk and our student ambassadors. We run arrival weeks where you have activities and various groups of welcome mentors so that you can settle in. And we have around 27% international students across the whole university. So we're used to supporting international students with any concerns that they might have. We have the Student Health Center, which is not only for physical health and things like this, but also for helping students to deal with things like stress, procrastination, also adjustment difficulties and loneliness, anything that you may experience as a new incoming student. Obviously, we hope you don't experience that, but if you do, there is support available, which I think is really important to highlight as well. Yeah, that's the things that I can also think of right now.
All right, thank you very much. I'm sure that, as we have more incoming questions, we get to, explore more about that as well. So, yeah, from Miss Ellen, do you want to share for what kind of support you have at SLU?
Absolutely. And I think you're going to recognize some things because it's already been said by my colleagues from the other universities. We offer a few SLU scholarships each year covering tuition fees only. Quite competitive, but available for all of you to apply for. And there's also the Study in Sweden, the SI scholarships, and you may also apply for the LPDP scholarships if you're in Indonesia. My colleagues here were talking about rankings before, so I might add that we're ranked as number 3 in the world, actually, in agriculture and forestry. And that's why we're on the LPDP list. As some of you already mentioned too, I might add that you can chat to our student ambassadors on Unibuddy. You can do that now as a prospective student and also when you're at SLU, of course. We have an orientation week, the week before the semester begins. And we offer accommodation for all fee-paying students during their first year at SLU. And there's a good support team. The mobility team and the study counselors will be there for you. And yeah, the student health, as you mentioned, Rebecca, that's also a good thing. We just had a seminar called How to Survive the Swedish Winter, actually. So it's a good thing to know about. Yeah, I think so. That's enough for now.
All right, thank you. Thank you. And I really appreciate that you mentioned about Swedish winter, because for Indonesians who, mostly spend their time living in a tropical country, going to a subtropic country would be a pretty challenging experience. And as Sweden is, like way up north, it could probably something else to be, better prepared for. So thanks for highlighting that as well. But other than that, when we talk about international students and a lot of things that they need to adjust, not only in terms of climate, but also the different education system, different languages, and Swedish people being with welcoming different people from all over the world. We also would like to hear more about the Swedish culture and how would you offer your insight about the ways that international students can integrate themselves into Swedish culture, so they can, explore the country and hang out with the people with less cultural challenges as possible. Probably, Rebecca, you would like to start.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I think the reputation for Swedish people is that they are a bit reserved. But actually what I have found, because I also moved to Sweden from another country, from the UK, and what I have found is that as soon as you start to talk to a Swedish person, then they are very friendly and very nice. And it's just that maybe they won't always approach you first, so you have to sometimes put yourself out there a little to start talking to somebody. And the best tip that I received was to actually think about your interests, like what you enjoy doing, your hobbies, for example, and to meet people through those. So we have a range of different student-led associations and organizations on campus. And you can pretty much, if you like singing, if you like sport, if you like politics, if you want to talk to other people or network for your career, there's opportunities to do those things. And then that is usually how you meet people with similar interests. So the advice that we usually give is that the activity comes first before the friendship, rather than it being like, oh, let's go and have coffee and be friends. It's more like, let's go and join this activity, and then you get to know somebody a bit more. And also, I would say that all of the other international students are also in a similar situation to you. So as well, it can be really nice to join in with the activities for other international students. I know that everybody wants to get to know the Swedish culture, but also it can be a nice thing to make friends with other people who are in a similar situation to you, who are learning about the culture together. So that can also be an option through the activities that we run for international students as well. Yeah, maybe my other colleagues have some other ideas and thoughts they can add to that as well.
All right, thank you very much, Rebecca. Ellen, would you like to add?
Sure. Speaking as a born and raised Swede, I can only agree with Rebecca. We're a bit, maybe seem a bit reserved. We don't like to bother other people, but if you come up to us and ask us, we will be happy to help with anything. At SLU, most of our master programs are actually in English. So most of the Swedish students do their master in English as well. So you will have Swedes in your course. And my advice for you would be to interact with them. Don't keep to the international community, but interact with the Swedes as well. They want to, I can promise you that. And the Student Union is also a great help for that. And it's also a great choice to act on your interests, of course. SLU is actually all over Sweden. We have international students in 3 different campuses. I'm in Uppsala, as you mentioned, close to Stockholm, but we also have a campus in the south, close to Lund, actually, a small place called Alnarp, and we have a campus in Umeå in the north. And they're all in big university cities. So you will also be able to interact with students from the other universities in those towns.
All right, thank you very much. Sintong, do you have anything to add?
I think my colleagues have just mentioned pretty much all, but I can also mention that in Sweden, a group, like in your courses, there are a large portion of group assignments that you do your project in a group of 2 to 4 or even more. And then this give you opportunity. And then as Elin mentioned, that there are a lot of Swedish students in your class. So it's a good opportunity to learn from each other, and also learn from other international students with different background, to in the depth your expertise, and also join some social activities together to make friends. So I think that is also a good way to join the Swedish culture.
All right, thank you very much. Now, we've touched upon the introduction to the country and the university, the education system, and etc. I would like to hear more from all of our speakers. You know, KTH, Lund University, SLU, you all have your own distinctive reputation that people already known for. But could you mention or elaborate a little bit more about your specialized majors in your university that would be difficult to find at other universities? Ms. Ellen, you probably want to start?
SLU is a specialized university in many ways. As I said, our name is the Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences, but that's kind of an old name. So I would say that we're more about environment and sustainability issues as an umbrella. And all of our master programs are quite specialized. They're transdisciplinary, so usually they combine students from natural and social sciences in environmental issues, like in environmental economics or environmental communication, all those kind of things. What makes us unique is probably this, and the fact that we're the only university in Sweden that offers some sciences like soil science and the veterinary sciences. We're a really research-intense university. So I think about 70% of our turnover goes to research. So that also means that there is a lot of researchers at SLU. We have about 4,400 students and about 3,300 employees. So if you do the math there, you can see that there is a lot of teacher time for every student at SLU. And that's something we are really proud of. You would really get to know your professors and your lecturers in a very informal way. And this is also something about Sweden, that you teach in an informal way. You will call your professor by your first name and probably get to know them in another way than in many other countries.
All right, thank you very much. That was very encouraging when you hear that the lecturers or people around the campus would trouble, because it's also going to help as students to not only immersing yourself in your education, but also to seek for help when whenever you need, whenever you have questions, or whenever you feel that there's a bit of obstacles that you need to deal with. Having approachable people as part of your support system is definitely very good. Thank you very much. So Ms. Sintong, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, at KTH, we as I mentioned previously, that as a technical university, that we ranked kind of high with some of the subjects, such as electrical engineering, material science, mechanical engineering, architecture, and civil engineering. So in those subject areas, the strength for KTH. And then, as Elin mentioned, that the courses are the professors offers very informal teaching, but also give a lot of support whenever you need support and help. For example, we have that they mostly have good connections with industries, that they can help you to find thesis work in the industry that lead to your future employment. So that is kind of strong. And then KTH has 5 campuses that strategically located next to the different industry area. So it makes students easy to find their, for example, summer internship, or their part-time job, or even their first job after graduation.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice. That's very nice. Thank you. Ms. Rebecca.
Yeah, so my colleagues have obviously got some areas that are really specifically specialized, and they have great reputations. And we have a comprehensive university, so that's a little different. We have 9 different faculties and around 130 master's programs and 9 bachelor's programs across those areas. So it's interesting because all of our masters are quite unique, so it's hard to maybe pick the ones which are the most interesting. But I mean, we do have some which, like my colleague mentioned, we also try to foster these great relationships with employers and other connections. So, for example, we have our industrial design program, where the students actually get an opportunity to do a project with NASA to help develop the future of habitable space on other planets. So that's absolutely amazing. And it often, depending on your visa, you can actually go to NASA in the US, depending, which is really cool. But we have many other programs with those kinds of opportunities. So for example, if you studied archaeology, then you would be able to do an archaeological dig at Upokra, which is a large Viking settlement outside of Lund. And our LUCEM School of Economics and Management also has a great reputation because of its incredible links with employers. So for example, they have programs where you take on business cases, like problems which occurred a few years earlier at a certain company, and then you actually have to present your solution to that company who was part of that real case. So we have some amazing programs. We also have, for example, specialisms in areas like biology, where you can actually specialize with a course in ornithology and things like this. So I think it's really, there's so many options. So depending on your interest, you can kind of come to us and see whether we have something for you. But yeah, we really take pride in these connections and the way that we actually apply the work in many cases.
All right, thank you very much. Sounds awesome, everybody. Thanks for sharing. Okay, now that we know a little bit more about what the universities have to offer, do you have any tips for students to increase their chances of admission to your university? So Sintong, probably you can start.
Yes, thank you. So to increase your chance of being admitted, I can recommend actually on each master's program website, there is acceptance rate for this program from the latest application round that you can check to estimate the chance of being admitted. And also you can apply up to 4 programs. So I encourage you to apply for 4 programs and rank them by your interest of priority. And then also to make sure that you, of course, obviously hand in all your documentation in good time, definitely before the deadlines, and to upload all the documents, so you don't have to be contacted after the deadline, say something that is missing. I think that's our I can also mention that write the motivation letter specifically to the program that you're applying to, not like a general motivation letter to 4 programs, because our program directors really wanted to know why you specifically wanted to apply for this master's program. And then read carefully about not only the general entry requirements, but also the specific entry requirement for the master's program that you're applying to, and the documentation that fits your country specific requirements that is listed under the university admissions. So to find your country requirements also.
I see.
Yes.
So basically be the person that that specific project actually wants in their program, right? Right.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Rebecca, how is it like in Lund University?
Yeah, really the same advice applies, and it's very important. So I'll repeat it, that you should definitely check your eligibility. So you go onto our program pages and you have a look at what the requirements are. Every program has specific requirements as well as the general requirements that we already mentioned. So the specific requirements are very important. The best thing you can do is to check that you definitely have the requirements and that you upload the evidence of that when you apply. Also, many of our programs have a section where it says program specific documents. And this can be the statement of purpose or letter of motivation, but also sometimes there is like a summary sheet where you can fill in information to show that you meet the eligibility requirements. So my top tip is to check that very carefully. And if there's any advice in there about what to include in your statement of purpose, for example, then make sure that you read that carefully and that you actually follow the guidance there. So for example, some programs will say, for example, maybe our entrepreneurship program, they want to know your previous experience with entrepreneurship and setting up businesses. So you should make sure that you actually talk about that in detail, because that's what they ask for. And as my colleague said already, then we're looking to match the right students with the program. So we want to see a genuine connection between you and the program. And what that means is that you should really read the program syllabus and find out what is it about this program specifically appeals to you more than another program elsewhere. And if you highlight that, and we can see that you really authentically have a reason for wanting to do this program, maybe it relates to your goals for the future, or maybe it relates to your previous experience and what kinds of things you want to develop in yourself. This kind of connection and matching between you and the actual content of the program is almost always very important for our programs. So if the program requires this kind of letter, then my advice is to think about, why am I picking this program really specifically for me? And make sure that that's clear in your letter.
All right, thank you very much. I think you've highlighted a very important point here, which is authenticity, because sometimes when you have seen so many application letters and it may sound a bit too repetitive. So when you find something that's more, true to themselves, it can be pretty outstanding apart from, the more generic ones, so to speak. Thank you very much for sharing. Any insights from SLU?
I will try. You probably feel like we're repeating a lot of things, but that's because we do things in a similar way. And the application portal, universityadmissions.se, is actually the same one for all Swedish universities. So you can apply, as mentioned here, for 4 programs at a time, 4 choices. And you can do, of course, you should do them all at SLU, but you also could, if so, do it for several universities. And I agree, check the requirements on our web, of course, and make sure you have all your documents so you will be able to upload them in time. You have until February 1st to do that. And I might also mention that to apply to SLU, you don't need a motivation letter at all. We're happy with your transcripts and the proof that you meet the English language requirements. If you're applying for scholarships, that's another thing. You will need a motivation letter for that, but not to apply to the university.
I see. Thank you very much. That's also another key point that you mentioned, that submit your documents as soon as you can and not as soon as the deadline is approaching. Because sometimes people would, some people would wait until the last minute and things might happen. So let's just prevent the risk and then, apply as soon as possible. Thank you very much for that reminder as well, Ellen. Okay. Last question before we go to the Q&A session. I would like to hear more because we, in this session today, we have representatives from very reputable universities. Would like to hear more about your alumni network and how strong is your alumni network in the world of work, not only in Sweden, but also in Europe, more broadly. We can start with Rebecca.
Yeah, sure. So we have a strong alumni network. We have around 45,000 members in our alumni network, and around 70 each year alumni ambassadors. So these are specific students who graduated, and they are happy for us to stay in touch with them and bring them to events and things like this. And we utilize that a lot. I think actually in the fair that just happened, that you were at, Ellen, we actually had some alumni supporting my colleague there. And one of them actually even named their baby Lund. That's how much they loved the experience at the university, which was just amazing to us when we heard this. So we have a very strong relationship with our alumni, and the alumni ambassadors are currently across so many different countries. I mean, I can just quickly have a look on here, but I can see that we have like maybe 50 countries represented in terms of the current place where they're living. So that's, yeah, it's extremely international. Yeah, I mean, if there's anything else I can add, let me know, but I think that's the main facts that I have around the network.
All right, thank you very much. How about from SLU, how strong is your alumni network?
I would say it's a strong network, but it's smaller, of course, than Lund and KTH. We're younger and smaller than those, so we haven't been able to build up the same size, but we have a network that is strong and growing steady. And we do have some alumni here in Indonesia that I've been able to meet up with during my trip here this time. And that's really great to be able to do so. I hope there will be more of you in the future.
All right, thank you. I think the more the merrier, right?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, Sintang, how about in KTH?
Yes, at KTH, globally, we have around 100,000 alumni in more than 100 countries. And a lot of countries, we have alumni chapters where they organize alumni events in their country, try to get together, share their business ideas, and also you can find a lot of them on LinkedIn. Yeah, whenever we travel to different parts of the world for student recruitment purposes, we always like invite our alumni to meet our prospective students at the booth to share their experience. And then similar to Lund University, our alumni from KTH like founded their companies that I know. That there's one alumni founded their startup company, Fika. So Fika means the coffee break in Sweden. That's how much I love Sweden, not specifically linked to KTH, but yeah, Sweden definitely gave there a good memory. So as a KTH alumni, I think there's a great opportunity to be able to meet even outside of Sweden with your fellow classmates, and also a lot of alumni give back to KTH. For example, they sponsor our scholarships, sponsor our accommodation. So a lot of opportunities to also interact after being graduation. Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Now we have quite a few questions from the audience. The first one is for you, Rebecca. So the question is about student admission. So the person would like to hear more about the admissions for master's degrees. So would it be possible for a fresh graduate to be accepted for a master's degree program? Because generally students accepted in master's degree would usually have a couple of years of working experience. Would you probably like to address that?
Sure, yeah, I can take that. So basically, the key thing for us is whether you meet the eligibility requirements. And usually those are based on previous academic study rather than previous work. So some programs, of course, like I mentioned, the entrepreneurship one earlier, it's really valuable to show your previous work experience. So I can't say this is the case across all of the programs. It really depends which program you're applying for. But what I can say is for the most, like the very large majority of the programs, we're looking for your academic experience as the main criteria for your eligibility. Then, of course, when you apply and you write a statement of purpose or a letter, then if you have previous work experience that is relevant, of course, you must highlight that because that's a great benefit to you as well. So it's not like it doesn't help. Of course, it helps, but you still can definitely apply as a fresh graduate. And many, many of our international students come directly in after their bachelor's year. You can apply during your final year of your bachelor's studies and have entrance at the start of the following semester. So it's definitely a common route, and yes, you should be encouraged to apply. If you need advice specifically for a program, then of course the student can contact us and we can have a look at it together to make sure what that program actually requests. But yeah, definitely don't be scared to apply as a new graduate or about to graduate from your bachelor's.
All right, thank you. That's encouraging, and I hope that's also becoming a consideration for new or upcoming fresh graduates to start considering or thinking about their master's degree application. Thank you very much. This next question could probably be answered by everyone, especially that we have more specialized universities in technology and agriculture as well. Would you have any insight about the current research projects in Sweden for PhD? So, for example, is there any website that gathers professors' current research projects for PhD projects in Sweden? And how would you recommend for prospective PhD students to start approaching professors or planning for their research project as PhD students? Probably Sintong, you can start.
Yes, of course. So at KTH, I mean, I think in Sweden, in general, that PhD is considered as a full-time job, that you apply for a PhD just as apply for a job. So at KTH, there's a website listed all the vacancies that you can apply. The most time we open it twice a year, in springtime and in autumn semester, open new positions that you can apply to. And then in that website, you can find all the requirements and the topics for research. That is one thing. And in terms of all the research and professors, at KTH, you can find, we have all 5 schools specialized in different and technical areas. So under those 5 schools, you can find all the research and professors there. So I would encourage you to check our websites for more detailed information. And then if you are interested in applying for a PhD study, I would encourage you to browse the vacancies like all the time, because it constantly updates. There's no like start date, no deadlines. So it depends on the position, as I mentioned, like applying to a job. And then also I can mention, if you are if you want to study master's level at KTH, it is a privilege in some way that you have a connection with the professor already from your master's studies, that you have an opportunity to know the topics or research that we can propose your ideas to to get this research topic together. And then you might get to know about the position and then apply for it. And then also in the recruitment process, the professor feels safe to recruit someone that he or she already know, that would finish all 4 or 5 years of research, because a PhD position need a huge, large amount of funding. So of course the professor wanted to make sure that this position is fulfilled and that can be carried out with a good candidate. So yeah, that's some of my information and recommendation from KTH.
Right. Thank you very much. Very insightful. I'd like to also hear from Ms. Eileen.
Regarding PhDs, as you mentioned, it works the same way in Sweden. You don't apply for a study program when you apply for a PhD, you apply for a job, just as mentioned here. So the advice for me as well is to look at the open jobs, but on the SLU webpage, of course, in my case. This also means that there is no tuition fee. You will get a monthly salary. And also, as you mentioned, I think doing your master's at SLU will increase your chance of being able to do a PhD. As I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of researchers at SLU. So I would say that the chance is quite good that you can carry on with a PhD, if that's what you're interested in. And if you want to have a look at current research, you can always look at the web. On some news are on the first page of the web, but you can also look at the different departments, of course, to see more specialized info. I think some of the research projects that they write a lot about right now is the artificial spider silk that is being used in medical applications, and also the production of climate-friendly rice that emits the minimum amount of methane when you cultivate it. So that's two quite interesting and quite medial projects right now.
All right, thank you very much. Last but not least, Rebecca, do you have any further insights?
Only to say that it's the same for us. We also advertise our PhDs through our job site, so you can find that from our website. And we also have a research and innovation tab on the main page of our website. And from there, you can see our current highlights and the things that we're focusing on, and also go deeper into each faculty. So I would recommend to go to that tab on our website if you want to look a bit further into that.
All right, thank you very much. So before we conclude today's session, I would like to invite our speakers to present the highlights of your respective universities and why prospective students from Indonesia should consider going to your university. We can start with SLU.
Start with SLU, very good. As I mentioned, SLU, we're highly ranked. We're a world-class international university, ranked as number 3 in the world in agriculture and forestry, We conduct research, education, and environmental assessment within the Sciences for Sustainable Life. And I would like to say that we bring together people who have different perspectives, but like all one and the same goal, to create the best conditions for a sustainable, thriving, and better world. So if that's your goal, you should come to SLU. Thank you very much.
Very short but sweet. Thank you. Next, I'd like to invite from KTH.
Thank you. I think in general, no matter which university you choose, Sweden, it is a good study destination for you to come, that I would enjoy your studies here. But if you want to study engineering and technical universities, then KTH, I think it's a good choice as one of the oldest and the largest leading Swedish technical university with top ranked engineering subjects. And we offer 60 master programs given by 5 schools with the size of 13,000 students, and a lot of them are international students. I just would like everyone to, I would like to welcome everyone that are interested in study at KTH.
All right, thank you very much. Rebecca?
Yeah, so yeah, I would echo what has been said, that Sweden is a wonderful study location. You can study here only speaking English if you want to. And Lund University, as I mentioned, it's a classic traditional Swedish university, one of world top 100 universities, 49th place in the Times Higher Education most international universities in the world from 2022, and 12th place in the QS Sustainability World Rankings. But outside of our rankings, we are a welcoming and beautiful city. You can see the picture behind me of our beautiful building, main university building. So if you want to come to a friendly, small city where you can experience Swedish life and get involved with the social side as well, and also know that your education will be top class, then I would really recommend us. We have such a wide range of different study options. So whatever you're interested in, we hope that we can provide something for you. Just come and ask us, visit our website, get to know us. We have so many different ways that you can find out more. We have virtual tours, we have the Unibuddies that we mentioned. We've got some applicant weeks coming up in just a couple of weeks. And we also have an Instagram account that you can have a look at so you can find out more. So I would just really encourage you to come to our website and explore what we have to offer, and then find these opportunities to meet us and get to know us better. We're really happy to help and to talk to you more about this.
All right, thank you very much. So I would like to extend utmost gratitude to our speakers from KTH Royal Institute of Technology, Lund University, and SLU for joining us today and sharing us with the audience, also joining us on YouTube. So thank you very much for your time and your insight during this afternoon session. If you have any further questions for the audience, feel free to visit the University Perspectives website as seen on your screen, and also attend the university's virtual booth as well. Thank you very much once again, and see you at EHAF 2023. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.